Queen, this is Alaska, and you're watching Jamar84 on YouTube. Oh,
Thank you. What's going on YouTube?
Jamar.
What's going on YouTube?
Washington.
This is Jamar84 here once again.
PM that night, and I was ready at 3.
Oh shit!
It's an all day process.
I would got musty and everything by then.
Honey, some girls had a little skunk on them, but yeah, I mean, you're just there, like cameras and hold on, and this is just like wow. So it's a lot of work. But if you're in the moment having fun, then you won't even think about it. You know, you have to really enjoy the type of stuff to do anything like that because it's so, like, it takes forever. Forever.
Well, I definitely give y'all props and then I know personally, I wanted to give you props for doing them squat jumps in that heavy ass dress because I know that was not easy.
Baby, that was my cardio and my exercise right there.
I was like, go ahead.
And that dress weighed like 40 pounds, 30 or 40 pounds. And it's velvet. And it's fully right here, single rhinestone. So it is the E6000. So that's already about 3 extra pounds. And I was like, every time I was getting up, I was like, oh, what am I doing? I felt it afterwards, though. My Lord. Baby, I woke up that next morning. When I tell you I moved the leg, get out of bed, I hollered. Oh, no, man. Family, baby.
But you know what? You got it done. You got the job done. And that's all that matters. That's all that matters.
That's all I wanted to do. Show my face on the show and wear my dress, and I did.
You sure did, babe. Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is your boy Jamar84 here once again, and we're here to review episode 7 of RuPaul's Drag Race entitled Snatch Game. Now, we know Snatch Game episode is the one episode of the entire season, of all seasons of Drag Race, with the exceptions of those first. I don't think they did it the first season. Well, did they start at season 2, season 3? I don't know. One of the seasons when everybody was blurry. Excuse me. And, you know, they get to do them impersonations. So it's like, it's gotten to a trend to where everybody wants to see, okay, what queen is going to pretend to be who. And, oh boy. Now y'all know, if y'all been watching my reviews as of lately, you already know who my favorites are, or mainly who my favorite is. And you know, this is going to be a very difficult episode to review. Oh Lord, why? I wanted to throw, we're going to get there. We're going to get there. So, after it's announced, there's no mini challenge this week, of course, because there's no need to separate in teams and things of this nature. We're just going to get into who was what and how they did. First of all, there was a mini spat of Donatella Versace gate where, who was it? I think Violet said at first, like, I'm going to be Donatella Versace, and then here comes fame. No, I'm going to be Donatella Versace. And I'm just like, has this ever happened in Drag Race before? Has 2 bitches ever been the same bitch on the same thing? I'm pretty sure that has never happened. Would it happen? Would that be a good idea? Would that be even good television? I don't know. That would be either a hit or a miss. It could be either really funny, as one could kind of compete to try to be the other one, and say the other one is like a doppelganger or some shit, or it could be stupid, and it just be too much at once, and then it just not work out. So I was like, okay, let's see how this is going to go, bitch. So, long story short, Rue, you know how he comes into the workroom and things of this nature, was went over to Miss Fame and was like, okay, you want to Donatella Versace? Let me hear some of your accent. And, wait, did he go to Miss Fame? Oh, yeah. I don't think he asked, I don't know if he remembered if he asked to do the accent or not. I could be wrong. But he was like, I heard that you and Violet want to both do Donatella Versace, and she was thinking of changing to somebody else and let Violet do hers. And, well, hold on. The hell? Yeah. She was going to change from Donatella Versace and let Violet do hers. And so, girl. Damn. Random ass hair. Anyway, she was gonna let her do hers, but then she was like, "Well, it's different." I wish I could get the quote what he had said, but he was basically like, "It's one thing to be nice and kind to the other contestants, but at some point you have to be a winner." Okay, I didn't paraphrase the shit out of that, but he was like, "Well, in short term, you can't be nice to all these contestants because this is still your competition. You have to, still try to win it regardless." So that's what he said to Miss Fan. So Miss Fan was like, "Well, shit, I'm just going to do Donatella Versace and not give a fuck." And then he went over to Violet and was like, "So let me hear your Donatella Versace." And then she did some kind of accent or whatever. He was like, "So who do you have for backup?" And she was like, "Well, I could do Alyssa Edwards." And she was like, "Well, let me see your Alyssa Edwards." She did the whole smack thing. I can't do it. I can't do it. I've tried. I don't know the skill. I don't know the science behind how that's done or whatever. But we'll get to the rest of the queens. Max was sharing needles. Now, we saw that preview. He was the only person that we saw from the preview. And I was so excited because, as y'all know, personally, this season, Max is my favorite. My personal guest or contestant or frontrunner that I thought was going to win the whole damn thing. So, the person who was my favorite doing one of my favorite winners of Drag Race all time. Like, I loved Sharon Needles' whole just aesthetic. I loved it all. So when I saw that he was doing Sharon Needles, I was like, okay, this can't go wrong, right? Girl, Max, sweetheart, I love you down. But baby, that was hard to watch. It was like there was zero comedic effect or elements to that. He tried, and his answers were just kind of very basic. I'm just like, oh. But he had the whole look down. The contacts, the skin tone, the brightly colored hair, the body movements-ish, I guess. But the whole look was great. It was once he started to talk was when it went downhill. I love you, Max, but that was terrible. And I watched it and I was just like, oh, no. No, 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 no. I started getting scared. Whew. So then we go to Jaden. Jaden, girl, you was one. And then when he said that he was going to do Raven-Symoné, I got so excited because Raven-Symoné is one of my favorite characters of all time on television. So I was like, Jaden, if you fuck this up, we're going to have problems. And it was cute. Like Michelle, everybody's saying Michelle's comment was valid. It was cute the first time, girl, when you had the little vision faces. It was cute, but then your answers weren't really hitting like that. But then you just, every time you got questioned, you went, no. Like, you should have used, like, some of her other sayings, like, you nasty, how y'all doing? Now, actually, Jaden said that when he first entered the workroom, y'all remember. What else does Raven say? She has, like, the high-pitched voice. Like, I just felt like I could have just watched a few episodes, reminded myself, and just used other things other than just, but I still love Jaden anyway. The look was still cute. Now, brain fart, Katya did Susie Orman. I'm not familiar with who she is, but Katya is still just fucking hilarious no matter what person she plays. Violet did her Alyssa Edwards. It was funny. I enjoyed it. I didn't know who she was going to be. I was just like, oh, okay. But she actually did a pretty damn good Alyssa Edwards. She had the long nails, the big hair, and the... See, it didn't work. I can't do it. I can't do it. Pearl, I was wondering who Pearl was going to be, because Pearl is just a... People are going to do... I think like in season 10, people are going to do Pearl as Snatch Game. Just to see how that would look. But she did Big Ange, and she was actually kind of funny. Like, she had the breasts that were out to here. Her lip line was like this. Those were her lips. She had bronzed like a motherfucker. Looked like she was burnt. And her voice was 5 octaves below mine. And like she was smoking cigarettes. So we all, if you've heard Big Ange on, what is it, Mob Wives that she's on? Jersey Shore? One of the two. I think it's Mob Wives. So you know how she sounds. And she was actually kind of funny. So Pearl has definitely woken up from that time that he got put in the bottom too. And I can appreciate that. Let's see, who are we? Miss Fame did her Donatella. She was doing a fucking Russian accent the whole time. I was trying to remember, like, what does an Italian accent sound like? And then I remembered Sophia from the Golden Girls. And, you know, so they do their hands like this. They, you know, they like pizza and tomato sauce. I hope I'm not offending anybody who's Italian. But, you know, those are like the Italian stereotypes. And she was doing all of Russian. All of Russia. Giving the Russian accent. And I'm just like, oh girl, bye. Who else? Kennedy motherfucking Davenport. Whoa! Shut up. I do not like Kennedy at this point at the time in the competition, but baby, when I tell you I was howling in this apartment, and Kennedy and the damn Little Richie. Now, for some reason, I guess because it's just funnier, they could say, a lot of people have said that Kennedy did the same thing that Jaden did, where every time he said something, it was, what? You know, he just did the same thing over and over again, but still every time it was funny. Or he just did it enough times and in such a way that the shit was just funny. A lot of people had issues with him doing drag as a man. But Little Richie, that said, is so effeminate that you can be that and still be technically in drag, sort of. It would be like somebody said, as an example, if somebody did Prince for Snatch Game. That would be interesting. Because he's kind of like, he wears the high heels, he wears all the effeminate clothing, but he just has a penis. So... Kennedy's, that shit was funny. It was good. I was worried because I forget who it was she was talking to, but they were trying to get her to do Sweet Brown. Like, yo, no, ain't nobody got time for that. And that, I felt, would have just been very bad and just would have exuded so many negative stereotypes, because the reason why Sweet Brown is funny is because of black stereotypes, in my opinion anyway. And it just not, I don't think it would have been in good taste for Kennedy to go up there in a head wrap and wig and with a gold tooth and trying to just be like an, nah. It could have still been funny, but I'm glad that he went the route that he did. And lastly, Ginger Minge was Adele. I'm like, perfect. It was good enough. I was like, I know Adele can crack jokes. She's kind of funny and she has a whole accent, but he actually nailed it. He was actually, he had the whole look down, and it was just great. I was wondering, like, Ginger Minge should nail this because she is a comedy queen and she likes to talk about people all the time. So I'm just wondering, like, who is she going to be? But she did a great Adele. And we move after the Snatch Game. I feel like there was something else I was going to say about it, but I can't really remember. Nope. So we get to the workroom after the Snatch Game, and this is where we have the sentimental moment of the show with Katya. And, you know, she talks about how she was on drugs, and she's felt like she hasn't been able to love herself because of how she came up. She had her addictions and how she used to use, comedy as a way to kind of deflect that, which is a very common, defense mechanism for people with addiction. They try to use comedy to kind of deal with, make humor and light out of a heavy situation. And her and Miss Fame had a moment together where Miss Fame was saying, well, I had been, sober for, 9 years? They never really specified what she was sober from, but I'm just going to assume it was alcohol. But Katya mentioned she was on alcohol, she was on crystal meth, she was on a number of other drugs. And being in the Rupaul's Drag Race environment where she is separated from the people who would be her normal support group whenever she would, go through a downtime and feel the need for something, like they're not there to kind of help her through it, so she's kind of breaking down. So I was feeling for Katya, and I can understand her, and it was very nice to see her and Miss Fame have that moment. Like, Miss Fame seems to be bonding with everybody. She was bonding with Violet, and now she's bonding with Katya, so she's making her rounds. Excuse me. So the runway this week was leather and lace. And of all the looks, there was really only 3 that when I really looked back on it that I could remember. Like, I honestly forgot everybody's look. Or if I didn't forget it, it really wasn't anything to gawk at. Like, my favorites were Violet and Max. And I'm pretty sure I said this last week. Usually, some people have like a hit and miss with their runways, but so far, Violet and Max are the 2 people who every single runway look has been every motherfucking thing. Everything. That Violet and the whole dominatrix shit that she had going on, like, she buys clothes that make that skinty boy body look good. Okay? It looks good. And then Max is just Max. Max is just everything. He had like the red contacts in, and he finally changed up the hair from Michelle Massage, what name did I just say? Michelle Manat, girl. I don't know what I just said. Y'all rewind and let me know. But he finally put on the black hair, which kind of made him blend in so much. It was kind of like, I don't like it. No, But he said he was only going to do it once and then go back to gray hair. But so Max is getting his critique. Now, this is where the interesting producing, editing part comes in. So we saw Max was getting his critique, or was, I believe it was during his own critique, where he undid his corset. And they said, can we get some help for Max? And then he brought him down to the steps, and he just started singing a song from A Star Is Born. Don't ask me the name of it, because I do not know. And then everybody was just kind of like, oh my God, here she goes. Here goes Max pulling on stunts and shows and blah, blah, blah. Because I was looking at it too like, Max, what you doing? What you going through, girl? I was just like, okay. All right. I still support you. You may be a little cuckoo, but okay. And what turns out, because Max got on Twitter and was like, no, that's not how it happened. My corset came off during somebody else's critique, and I thought the cameras had stopped rolling, or that we were on break, because y'all know they'd be up there for hours and hours and hours. It just feels like 5 minutes to us. But they was like, okay, are we going to be on break? And he was like, okay, well, I'm going to go sit down on the stairs for a little bit. And Rue actually asked him to sing a piece from another movie. I can't remember the name now. I'd have to look it up, and I'm not going to go and do all that. But it was from another movie, and he was like, well, I just ended up doing a song from The Star Is Born, just thinking that I was just fucking around. And they decided to put it into the actual episode, try to make Max look crazy. So I was like, okay, that's kind of fucked up. So then we get to this lip sync. And yeah, Jaden versus Max. And I have to say this again. I think I've said this once before in another review. Miss Fame, somehow, some way, always ends up in the bottom 3, and it's between Miss Fame and somebody else for going into the bottom 2 to lip sync. And every time, I think it's been like since episode 3, every time that Miss Fame would get into the bottom 3, I'm thinking, okay, she's gonna finally lip sync, and yet somehow, she managed to slip by the skin of her motherfucking teeth. I'm just like, this bitch is getting mulligans like a motherfucker. But that's the motherfucking game. Jaden and Max did their lip sync to some song, and I was just like, okay, I'm listening to like the beat and the feel of the song, and I'm like, this is right up Jaden's alley. Oh shit. But you know, Max was still doing a little bit something, but Max was being Max and still kind of, he's not really a performer, so. And so RuPaul says he's made his decision. Jaden Dior fears, sashay you stay, Max sashay away. I threw my fucking remote. And I was heartbroken. I'm just like, I honestly, just a little bit, have kind of lost interest in the show now. And whatever else is going to happen. Of course, we're still going to watch and we're going to review it. We're going to still come back here and review. But I just was like, I don't see it for none of the rest of these bitches. Now, the only other person, I will say I do have a plan B and I'm rooting for. And the only other bitch in this competition that I want to see win this now that Max is gone is Katya. The only bitch. I like, you know, Jaden, Pearl, Miss Fame. I don't fuck with Ginger. Not too much fucking with Kennedy. Violet's starting to win me over a little bit at a time. But yeah, I just don't see it for nobody else but Katya now, since Max is gone. Oh, God, I can't believe it. But this is the whole big shebang here. As if we didn't already, well, we didn't know he was going to do it or not, but if he did do it, we knew how this was going to go down. So he's like, oh, well, I feel like I've made a terrible decision and left one of our queens go home too soon. And I'm like, bitch. RuPaul, bitch. You pulling stunts and shows, honey. Because we already knew there was a whole motherfucking Twitter and social media petition for justice for Trixie. I'm like, if you're bringing anybody back, you're bringing Trixie back. I'm like, okay. I can feel that. And a lot of people was like, well, that's sort of unfair because she was eliminated episode, 4? And now she's just going to be automatically shot to episode 8. Like, this, she just gets to come back like 4 episodes ahead than what she would have been. I'm like, okay, that's a little unfair. If you were going to bring her back, you should have brought her back within the next 2 episodes or something. But either way it goes. If you check out Trixie Mattel's YouTube, she actually did who she would have been for Snatch Game, or at least one that she was considering for Snatch Game is Anne Frank. If you just go to Trixie Mattel on YouTube. But they said they wouldn't allow her to do it. I guess probably for, you know, reasons that people might get offended if she did Anne Frank. So, oh, excuse me. I guess she was just like, well, I'm going to still show y'all what the fuck I was going to do, even though they're not going to let me do it. But honestly, this week for Untucked, there really wasn't much to it. Really. The only part that was like weird was, okay, Pearl and Violet had this whole connection, you know, throughout the shit. And I'm like, are they going to fuck? Because one, Pearl was like, okay, so what are we going to do for like an hour until we wait for the rest of the girls to come out? And Violet was like, let's have a kai-kai. And those of you who are not familiar with a kai-kai in apparently drag lingo or culture means 2 drag queens fucking. So that was one. And then the other thing was they were literally admiring or having a full-on discussion about each other's tuck. Okay? Like, Violet was showing, I swear to God, if you watch this Untucked and watched it, remember this part. Violet was showing how her leather was kind of like, she said when it walked, it would kind of cut against her skin or her crotch or whatever. And I swear you could see the side, you could see a slither of skin from her ball sack. I swear to God, it's there. I'm just like, are y'all really about to put this shit? Well, I guess that's why it's on YouTube. And then, literally, like, Pearl said she barely tucked for this particular runway. So she lifts up her fucking dress, and Violet's like, oh, you just probably got like 6 different pantyhose on that shit and got it. I'm just like, y'all are sitting here looking at each other's dicks. Okay, bitch. But yeah, Max was, you know, of course, Max and Jaden were paranoid about the lip sync, and Max was kind of being self-defeated, and it was sad to see it because I love Max. I really wanted Max to win the whole thing, and I just never foresaw him in the bottom 2, but we're at the point of the competition now where it's anybody's game. Now, especially after this episode, after you just sent home Max, I don't know who's gonna, I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen at this point because ain't shit going right. Trixie will probably come back for next week, so it'll be back at 8 Queens. They was talking about they're gonna try to pretend like they're gonna consider everybody who's gonna come back. Like, who gonna really come bring back a Sasha Veil and a Mrs. Kasha Davis? Ain't nobody gonna want their asses back. Now, I would like Tempest back, and Jasmine Masters. I actually, if y'all made to the end of this video, I mean, you already saw it at the beginning, but I'm going to put at the beginning of the video a conversation that I actually got to have with Jasmine, or at least a part of it anyway. But yeah, that would have been cool, but y'all already know they're going to bring back Trixie because of all that hoopla from when she got eliminated. But that was this week's review for this episode, y'all. I don't know what the fuck to expect from the rest of this season. I'm a little over it now that Max is gone, but I will deal with it. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you back again in the next video. Bye-bye.
Like, share, subscribe.
Washington.